Okay, here we go. First slide, passwords versus passkeys. Now, this is a hot topic. I think Howard started it first, like 2 months ago. He sent Barry hey, can you guys talk about passkeys? So he said, fine, we'll get that together and we'll do that. And today it's going to be a little, not kludgy, but this is really, you're in a hybrid situation between passwords and passkeys. So we're going to explain that to you, and hopefully you'll see where we're going and how we're doing it. You want to go to the agenda?
Yeah.
Vanna, you want to go to the agenda? Maybe, maybe not.
We never know.
No, we don't know. No, we don't know. But like all good tech people, here it is. Here it is right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend just probably 5 minutes on the importance of secure authentication, passwords of history and evolution. Everybody kind of knows that, but it kind of sets the stage for where we're going. So we want people to kind of see it. Then we'll talk about two-factor and we'll talk about multi-factor. And we have examples. That's the best way to kind of see that in action. So we're going to go through that. A password manager, which is kind of the safest way to do things because it remembers everything for you. And we've got a list of the difference between passwords and passkeys and how the password manager fits in now to both. Because password managers handle passwords and passkeys. So we're going to explain that to you. Then we'll go through some detailed setups with Amazon and Google is one of the handouts, but we want to show you what the difference is and how to get that going. So that'll be pretty easy. Where they're accepted, and then the call to action is just what's coming next. So that's where we're going right now.
Yes, we can off agenda items.
Yes. Okay, this is the importance of secure authentication. Those are just 3 statements, but the important one is the middle one. As cyber threats continue to evolve, organizations must stay ahead by implementing advanced authentication methods to safeguard their assets. That's really what's going on here, and we see it every day. The bad guys are getting better at it, and when the good guys want more money, they go to the bad guy side. The bad guys buy them. They do something else, and they go back to the good side to figure out how to not stop that. So it's kind of a game back and forth. Okay, Bear, we can go.
By the way, so far so good.
It's working. It's working. We can't guarantee it.
Been through 3 and they work.
That's good. So a quick history, early computing passwords, they were just basic security. You just came up with a password. Almost everybody used like Mike 1, 2, 3, 4, stuff like that in the beginning. So that did it. Then technological advancement, password systems have evolved. Now everybody wants a complex character. You started seeing that about 5 or 7 years ago. You put a password in and they go, nope, got to have a capital, got to have a special character, got to do this. And then as soon as you figure out a password for that, the next one you want to say, nope, you can't use that special character. It's like, come on, you got to be kidding me. So that gets more complex. But the third point is exactly what we were talking about before. It's the rising sophistication of cyber threats that has sparked the discussions on this. Our first one up on this is, well, right before we go to this, Barry had sent me this. This is just a 2-second thing. It's a little off topic, but it's kind of on topic. There's a right way and a wrong way to share your password. So we have a handout that's going to be on the hub, but basically the wrong way is to just text it or email because they're open. Somebody will get that. That's not a good way to do it. Apple has a solution for that, of course, and Barry can walk you through that. But the best way is you want to use, if you have to share a password, one of the ways is, I call you Howard and I say, here's the login, and then I text you the password. So you got 2 different things going, and you've got to use an end-to-end encryption. You can't use SMS. You got to use WhatsApp. You have to use something like that, and then you're secure to give your path to do that. So that's just a right and wrong way to, because everybody's going to eventually do that. My daughter just did it because she wanted my HBO Max password because she wanted to watch The Pit. So we had to do that. So now on the two-factor, everybody's familiar with it because it's a second step that's beyond a password. Any bank, health, investment, they're going to say, I'm going to send an SMS code to your text. Well, you get it, you copy it, you bring it back. It's another layer of security. So that works fine. We're all used to that. That's pretty good. In fact, that's the only thing you should ever click on a text is that code. And when they send you this other stuff, don't even bother. Multi-factor is just a third layer. So it's going to come back and say, personal question. Your wife's maiden, or your mother's maiden name, all that kind of stuff. And as another layer of protection, which I personally hate that one because it always says, where'd you meet your wife? I say New York City, NYC. She types out New York City. They never match. So it's like, you got to be kidding. So, but it's a good way to do it. There's stronger protection, prevents identity theft. It's a little bit longer to sign in, but you're talking seconds. So it's very good to do that. And Bear's going to take over. He's got some actual examples we can show you and kind of go over on how that works.
Yeah.
Passkeys, by the way, are the result or a better way of doing multi-factor authentication. So what two-factor or multi-factor identification was, basically you had the public key, which is the password, okay? And that you came up with and you put it on a site, but the site could always be hacked, okay? So what two-factor authentication really did was you own the second key. So for instance, if they send you a text, it's coming to you. If they ask a challenge question, which we're going to see, you know what it is because you created it. So that's really what two-factor authentication is, just a much safer way. I can say this, that any site that involves money, if they offer two-factor authentication, do it.
Oh, they will.
Absolutely. Most of them do, but yes. Is it a pain? I'm the most impatient person in the world, but I put up with it. Although, sometimes when they send the wrong thing, I'm not real happy about it, but it is something that you must do until passkeys actually take over the entire existence, which is going to happen. So what we're looking at here, by the way, some of these slides are videos and they may not work. But this session is being recorded. So if it comes out, you'll be able to access it on the hub, on the forum. And if you do access it, then you'll be able to click on these and ostensibly they'll work. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a 2FA, two-factor authentication with a text code, which all of you, for the most part, have been through. Let's see if this is working now. It should be. Yeah, there it goes. So I'm going to sign in. I hit the sign in button at the top, and you'll notice that all of the field here is filled in. That's because of a password manager, which I'm going to talk about in a little while. But all of that is filled in. And what happened is it didn't take me to the site. It took me to this. So I chose, usually if you have a choice, choose text. It's easier to deal with and it comes in quicker. So this just shows I didn't enter it, but that basically right there, I just flipped over to my, there it is, the text, and that was the code that I copied. And now I'm going to enter the code into the field, and that would open up the site. Everybody, I think pretty much, right, are familiar with this. You've done this. This is the classic version of it. Now, this is an interesting situation. This is our dear Chesapeake Gas. There isn't a single person in this room that doesn't deal with that site unless you do it by mail. But, everybody knows this site. So they have a couple of things that they do that are different. Initially, when I set this up, this was one of those sites where my patience didn't take over, and I had no patience for the initial setup. But here, what I'm going to show you is this is multi-factor authentication with a challenge question. Some of you have probably seen this as well. This can happen on its own, or it can be two multi-factor. You can have a code, and then after you enter the code, then you have to enter the challenge question. So basically, what this did was I go to sign in, and again, it's filled in. That's my Apple Password Manager, which we'll talk about. It's filling it in automatically, which is, again, something that really is it's just an amazing method so that you don't have to remember. So I'm going to sign in here, and there we go. And there it goes, filling it in. The one thing about automatic fill-in, and again, we'll talk about it, is it's correct. Now, here's the challenge question. So this is what you set the challenge questions up. Generally, they're 3. So if you don't answer the first one right, like, some of the sites, this question was, where did you meet your spouse? Well, I met her at Maryland. Initially, when I did this, I just typed out Maryland without putting a capital. And it didn't go through. The damn thing wanted Maryland with a capital. Why? I have no idea. But this is the challenge question. So this was a pretty good month. Wow. If it had been a bad month, I would not have shown that, by the way. I want to show you something else here that is really unique that this site did. Some sites do this, and if you encounter this on a site, you should do this. It's called a security seal. So it took me to this screen where I pick out an icon. I picked out handcuffs. I have a guilty conscience.
Karen, what do you think of that?
Yeah. I'll tell you what she thinks of it. She knows. So notice right here that you see the handcuffs, the icon. So what this does that I think is really cool, more sites are going to do it. It's not unusual. It can happen where you type in the site and you mistype. I won't even get into, what can happen. Hackers now, they buy URLs that are 1 digit off, 1 letter off of the real site. What this is doing is, if you don't see the icon on the site, you're not on a legitimate site. So, it's a safety feature. If you guys haven't set it up on Chesapeake, you should. Okay. You're going to see it on more and more sites. Chesapeake just happens to be one. I guess they were able to spend the money that we pay them. Okay. So, password managers. Well, I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask for a show of hands. Now, when you answer this question, just remember, Mike and I have been in many of your homes helping you set up. So here's my question. For password managers, how many of you, this is your password manager? Right in here with the book. Yeah, raise your hands. Come on. I know. Yeah. Well, you've heard the admonition. Everybody says, you go, yeah, I know. But it is more important than ever for you to start utilizing password managers for a number of reasons. It from a digital security standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. Okay. It's necessary in today's digital age, which requires so many logins. The password managers, and you're going to see, I'm going to show you one, they organize your passwords in a really great way. It's not hard to do. It takes time. Okay. Once you set them up, What a lot of the password managers will do is you've set it up, you've got the site, it will launch the website. Okay. So you don't have to go in and type the URL. You can just open up your card. I want to go to Chesapeake Gas. So I go to my password manager, I go to the Chesapeake Gas, and I just click on it and it'll launch the site. And not only does it launch the site, but I think I showed you before, it populates the field. Okay. And I'm going to explain that in a moment. What all password managers allow you to do, and again, I'm going to show this to you, is it allows you, they all have what are known as extensions in a browser extension. And browser extension is just a small applet that has functionality based on what that app happens to be. It's not hard to do. You go on to the website. All websites accept extensions. You can follow the instructions on how to do this. But what the extension does, and again, you're going to see this, when you have an extension in a browser, be it Google, Chrome, Safari, when you go to the site, to that particular site, and you have the password manager and you've set up that site, you don't enter password or your username. It automatically does it. Now, Apple Passwords is a password manager. All of you that have Apple devices have that, and you can set that up as your password manager. I happen to use.
So here, let's go over this first.
Yeah.
You're off the list. You're off.
Oh, I'm off the topic.
You're way
Okay.
off.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You're way off. Okay, here we
What
go.
else is new, right?
Yeah. He's not following the, I know Karen finds that hard to believe. The one handout is password manager. And what we really want to say here is what Barry said, is security, convenience, password generation. That's why you want to use them. But the biggest downfall from them is it has one master password. Do not forget that. Tattoo it on your leg, do something, but don't forget that one. Oh, right in the old one, right, exactly. But they're much safer. And if you're going to go, which we have a handout for that too, but if you're going across devices, we've had a lot of people ask us, I have an iPhone, my wife has an Android. How do I
This is
how
an
do I
answer for Howard.
go
We'll
back
get
and
to that.
forth? Yeah, but that's the password manager is the way to do it. That's the safest way to do it. And then at the bottom of this, we put some of the password managers that are the popular ones. Barry uses LastPass. I use RoboForm. They all look very much alike, and they are all changing weekly. So you got to stay up on top of it. But now we're going to go to
Password manager example.
examples. Yeah.
I use LastPass. I set it up.
No, the password manager software, they keep upgrading it all the time to add new functionality. You don't have to do anything. You probably won't need some of the new features, but they are constantly doing that.
Like for instance,
Yeah.
more than several months ago, they now have added passkeys to store passkeys, which we're going to talk about again, Howard, the importance of that when it comes to cross platforms. So all of the password managers organize the passwords in some form that looks kind of like this. Each of these are cards, based on what I set up. And yes, does it take a little bit of time? Yeah, it does. But it's well worth it, and it's not hard to do. This should be moving here, the arrow. Yeah, this video is actually working. So I'm going to kind of navigate around here. You can see this is what the cards look like that are set up. Come over here and you can see a list. But then over here, you saw passkeys. It now stores passkeys. I want to show you, this is what a card looks like when you've set it up. There's the website. There's the name of the site. There's the username. There's the site password, which is hidden, but you can unhide it if you needed to copy it. Okay. And this is the important part, that the fact that you entered the site, that's what allows the browser, when you use an extension, or if you just go to that card, it'll just launch the website without you having to type it in. So you can go to the password manager, you can go to whatever the site is, Chesapeake Gas, you could open up that card, it would launch it right there without you typing in Chesapeake Gas. This up here, that red square with the three dots, that's an icon for the extension. I set this extension up I set it up on, this is Chrome. I set it up on Safari as well. I would never be without this. I'm not at all. And I have, and by the way, the password managers also work on mobile devices. This is, to me, the most important feature of a password manager, that you go to a site and you don't have to do anything. It populates the username and the password. And if you entered it correctly, which sometimes you don't, but if you entered it correctly, it opens it up. Another important aspect of that is most sites today only give you 3 tries and then they lock you out. So you go in and you say, I know what the password is, and you go in and you type it and you miss by 1 digit. Or, if your fingers are like mine, you hit the cap key or you didn't hit, and you sit there and you go, no, damn it, I know that that's the right word. Come on, and language worse than that, as my wife can attest. And then you're locked out. With this, you use a password manager with an extension. You don't have that issue. Okay. And this is you. Yes. Yeah. You can do that. Yeah. Yeah. Most sites that do that, they're not short term. When I say short term, they're not a month or two. They could be 3 months, 4 months. They're usually not, they're usually not, again, 4 weeks, a month. But yes, you can change it through the password manager. Absolutely. Yeah.
And they're getting to the point where if you have 2-factor or multi-factor set up for that site, then they're not forcing you to change your password. So they're kind of moving in that direction. As long as you have more security, they're not going to force you.
Yeah.
So I have Norton.
Okay.
Is that what this is?
Well, at Norton, I'm not sure that Norton has a password manager.
Yeah,
They may. I'm not familiar. If you have Norton and it's if you have something that stores your passwords, that's a password manager. They're also known as password keepers as well. But yes, as I said, we're going to show you a little list at the back of all the various password. I began LastPass, using LastPass like 6, 7, 8 years ago. They're better ones, I know. I'm just too lazy to change I've got them all in there and I know it works. And so that's why I've stayed with LastPass.
On my iPhone, I can do
Yep.
I can Face ID.
Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. You can use your finger, the biometric. Yes, you can. You can do the side thing on the iPad. Yes.
Do I still need password manager?
When you say you can do that, what you've set that up because that is a password manager. That's Apple Passwords. That's what it is.
In the back.
Yeah, I should have said Apple introduced their own version of a password manager. I forget what iOS update it was. We talked about it if you came to our iOS session, which, by the way, we're going to do a new one on iOS 26. That was a great feature. I like the Apple. For years, you've stored your passwords in iCloud and they stored automatically. And any of the sites you had attached to that, you could use Face ID or biometric. They then formalize that into an app. So if you go in, you'll see that you have Apple Passwords, and Apple Passwords is really great. It stores passkeys as well. I like that very much. It does integrate, with websites. I probably would rely just on Apple, passwords if it wasn't that I have LastPass. So yes, what you've described, that is, yeah. Yes. Yeah. An extension is just a small applet. All browsers have extensions, which are just little applets of various apps that give you functionality on that website. Okay. You could have a weather, that you could have a weather extension that if you hit that, it would take you to a particular, a weather site. So the extension for the password managers, the functionality that it gives you is the automatic population of the fields.
You'll see on all your browsers, usually up in the right somewhere, you'll see it. You can get a list of all the extensions you have on that browser.
By the way, if you have questions, and you will, two things to do. We do have an email address that you could email your questions to, but as I've thought about it, I think what we're going to do is, if you're part of the forum, and if you're not, shame on you, and sign up. The cards are in the back. We're going to put a post on the forum, a post that you can ask your questions. Just go to the forum, go to the section, you'll see it. You ask your questions, we'll get back to you. There are going to be questions. I know, like for instance, how do I set up an extension? I could tell you right now, you go up to where there's the ellipsis, the 3 dots on Google, and you tap on it, and then you'll see extensions. We can help you out with that. Okay. If you have a password manager, you absolutely want to take advantage of an extension. As I said, my favorite thing about those is it populates it. It just, and you don't have to worry about putting it in or putting it in incorrectly.
Okay, this is just a side-by-side comparison of passwords and passkeys. Oh, sorry. Side-by-side comparison of passwords and passkeys. And we're going to go into the technology behind the passkey, with this public key and private key to explain a little bit better. It's about 4 slides down. But on this, the password is created by the user. The passkey is generated by your device. It's stored where? The password's on website servers, and the passkey is on your device. And the passwords, we've all heard of phishing, brute force reuse, that type of thing, because passwords are a shared secret. Well, the site has a secret and you have the secret, but the hackers get on and steal it. That's how they get it. Now they got it. On passkey, it's very hard to do that because it's on your device. It's not typed out. It's not something you can see like that. How to use it? We had a great example right here. Face ID, Touch ID, or PIN. Those are the 3 ways you can do it to get to the password. So that's great instead of just typing it manually.
We're going to explain a little more.
Yeah, you'll see that. We're going to go into that.
The quick overview.
Right.
To the next.
And cross device. Oh, almost. Cross device, and it's just seamless once you set it up. See, a lot of the stuff is you have to set it up. So now we're on. This is interesting. We copied this. This is from Wired magazine. This is one of the guys I like to read. His name is Jacob Roach from Wired. And he just said passwords suck. They're hard to remember, but worse is playing the ever-evolving game of cybersecurity whack-a-mole with your most important accounts. That's where passkeys come into play. The so-called war on passwords has taken off over the past 2 years, with titans like Google, Microsoft, and Apple pushing for a password-less future. Passkeys aren't only much easier to use than the traditional passwords, they're a lot safer. So you're going to see that. And the association that pushes this is called FIDO. like your dog, Fido. The Fido Alliance is where all these guys are getting together to get standards to do this. And FIDO is an acronym for Fast ID Online, so they didn't spend a lot of time on that one. You want to do the passkey?
Yeah, so what is a passkey? A passkey is a way of confirming that you are who you say you are without remembering a password, a long password. Passkeys, we say they end up being more convenient than passwords because passkeys work in a fundamentally different way. As Mike was explaining, a password you utilize, it's known as a shared secret. So your password's a secret, but you share it with the website. And sometimes you share it with the millions of people that might have access to it because it was hacked. Okay, you don't have control. You have control from your end. Okay, you can change the password, but once you put in the password and you send it up to that site, you have no control over it. You have no control over what happens to that password. So basically, you remember the secret, but you're not in full control of that password. And that's where passkeys come in, and they're different. And again, we're going to explain this. So how to create and store passwords, passkeys. Try to go over this and ask me questions and then send your questions, okay? But there's a two-step process to set up a passkey. The first part of the process is you have to prepare your device or your system to accept passkeys, which isn't hard to do, but it's a little different on all of the devices. Windows devices, you have to do what?
Windows Hello.
Windows Hello.
Windows Hello, just a little
Yeah.
box that pops up.
With iOS devices, once you set it up on any of the devices, the beauty of the Apple ecosystem, so they call it, is once you set it up on one device, it's on all the others. Okay, it's set up. But you have to go through the process of, and when I say set up, it's really preparing that system or device to accept the passkeys. That's step one. Step two is, and that step is really easy. You just follow the process of that particular device. Apple makes it super easy to do. Many of you have already set it up and you don't even know that you did. If you have Apple passkey, passwords, you've already set it up. The second step is even easier, and we're going to show you. Once you find a site that accepts passkeys, not all sites, as a matter of fact, the majority of sites now don't yet. And we've got a list of sites that do, and there are actually passkey directories where you could type in the site that you might want to go to see if it has a passkey. But once you get to a site that offers a passkey, you don't have to do much other than you see a box come up. We're going to show this to you. Do you want to create a passkey? Well, how hard is it to go? Yes. That's it. Once you've done that, you've set up your device to accept the passkey. What passkeys are, I like to say, they're device centric. What keeps them safe is the public key. It's a two-step process. There's a public key. Don't pay attention to that. That's just the setup on the site. You create a digital version of yourself, if you will, and it's on that site. The second part is the key, the private key, and it is private because it is controlled by your device. So it doesn't matter what the public key is, but the private key only you have access to. You don't have to remember anything. You just have to remember how to open up your device.
Yeah, we have that in two slides. Two
Yeah.
slides down, we got the
Yeah.
technical detail.
Okay.
if it's device centric, say you're traveling, you go to somebody else's house, you want to log into a computer. Is it not going to know your?
It might, it won't. You can go, which, you know, but password managers. You just go to you just type in your password manager. You know, you'll keep the site for your password manager, and you'll know the URL. A lot of people, that's where the password managers come in. You open that up and you've got it.
So if you have the password for the site and the passkey for the site, it keeps the hacker from going in through the password.
Well, he can't get, when you say the password, the pass key is on your device.
You say somewhere else and you could go through the password.
You'd have to go to your site. Yeah. Yeah. The password manager. Yeah. Is that? Yeah. We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
That's Howard's question too. And it's a very simple question, and it's a one-word answer. Add one word, that's two words. Password manager. We'll get to that.
Quick over to my phone. I've got 5 passkeys that I never entered.
Yeah, it entered, when you went to the site, it entered it for you. Yeah. Now I'm going to show you, by the way, you beat me to the punch. I'm going to admit to you, I'm going to show you how to set up a pass key, what Amazon does. Okay. So we're going to go through kind of what the process is. And I have to tell you, you know, as techie as maybe I think I am and advanced, I had never set up a pass key on Amazon. I didn't even know they offered pass keys. Okay. So the dummy that I am, you're going to share in my learned experience that, you know, how many of you have set up a pass key on Amazon? Probably if you have well, then you must here. Let me give you the mic. You know, I didn't do it, but it is so, and it is so easy. And the homework for this session is when you leave here, I want you to go directly, don't pass go directly home and set up an Amazon passkey. Actually, you really should do that. Think about all the people that, you know, could have access to the site. So let me see if I can get this up and running. And is it moving here? Am I going to look to see this? Is it? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here's how you go on Amazon to open. You go into your account. You go to your account, and then you go to, guess what? Login and security. And then guess what? You come down to passkey. Remember, I told you that it's really pretty simple. Now, I had already, unbeknownst to me, I had set up my beautiful iCloud keychain, which is Apple Passwords, had already set up one. So I'm going to add a different one. So I hit that, and guess what comes up? My password manager, because it accepts passkeys, and voila, it's done. That is as simple as it is to set up a passkey for Amazon. That was it. You go to accounts, and again, this video will be available. You go to your account, you go to login and security, and you go to create passkey. And that's it. And most sites are even simpler than this, because when you go to the site, it says you want to create a passkey. No one is going to say no, because if you did, it would create it for you anyway. But
You totally have to set the passkeys up from the site, not in your device.
oh no, it's in the device now. You know, I set it up on
You just set this up then.
I did. I set it up on Amazon, but it's only available on I can only access that through the next time I go to Amazon, it's going to pull up my password manager, which is my device.
If I go into passkey here, I can see what's there, but I can't create new ones.
Yes, that's right. A passkey Passkey's not, it's not like a password where you create it. It's actually created between the site and your device. Okay. I'm going to show you another, let me go. Okay. So again, this slide basically goes kind of over what I had explained. Passkeys are known as a public key cryptography, and it's a fancy way of saying that there's the matched shared password and a private password. Okay. Coming down, what makes it safer is that the login is secure because the private key is bound to your device. Only you have access to that device. Okay. So let's say you lose the device. Well, first of all, if you lose the device, if you have it set up, who's getting in your device? If you have a lock on your device, password, which who doesn't have one in here? Because if you don't answer that, because I'd be very disappointed. I would, my wife said, I cannot publicly shame anybody, so don't raise your hand. But every one of us has a lock on the on our phones. And that's the protection that you have. That's what makes passkeys, so fundamentally safe. If you did lose your phone, you could set up another one on your new device.
If you have not been using passkeys,
Mm-hmm.
take your device and enable passkeys,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go to a site and then you can password access. So will that device have access?
It can do both. You beat me to the punch. I'm going to show you. Yes. Yeah, it does. It will. Okay. This is, in a way, I think I'm going to show you this here. This is Bay Health. This is the health portal. And let's take a look at signing in. So I'm going to log in with passkey. It gave me that choice. I could have logged in with a password, but on this site, it gave me a choice of logging in with a passkey.
And then use the password and then use
Yeah.
passkey.
What you just saw, yeah, what you just saw was a perfect example. I could have entered on this side, I could have entered my password, but you saw the little box underneath that said log in with passkey.
Log in with pass.
Yeah, on this particular site. Now, this site is a little odd.
If you'd have launched from Password Manager, if you'd have launched through Bay Health with the passkey, it would automatically done. But if you just go, it's always been set up as a password, then it will give you the.
This is an odd log. Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna have to respond and say, yes, you can passkey a lot.
yeah. Let me show you, but this site, most sites now that have passkeys, it's just automatic, but let me click on this. I want to show you this. This is an odd way to sign in to a passkey. Most passkeys would just give you, you see this? It brought me, I want to continue. Okay. It said sign in. It gave me a QR code. Not many sites do that. So if you look over to the right, that's my phone that I took a picture of the QR code. And all I had to do was, you see the little sign in. When I did that, this is what happened.
Did it?
It logged in, it logged me in. Did that make sense? That was just another way of creating a passkey. This one this site happened to use a QR code.
Once you've initiated passkey for that site,
Yep.
next time you go to log.
Passkeys. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Passkeys. Yeah.
In the back.
So you're advising us to do this for additional security, is that, okay?
I'm advising you to do it because there won't be passwords. And 2 years from now, maybe 3, maybe shorter than that, you won't have passwords. And we're also advising you to do it because it's about 10 times safer.
Say, Digital security.
And if you're like me, whose memory is gone, I don't have, even if I use a password manager, I don't have to worry about it. The pass keys they're just simple. I have my device, I have my pass key. The way I access that pass key, for the most part on my device is face biometric, or I enter the code, to open up. All I have to do is open up my phone or my laptop or my iPad, and then the pass key, logs in.
Yes, I do have it. You don't have to remember your passkey.
No, you do not. Yeah, your device actually is your pass key. Nobody knows. Yeah,
Nobody knows.
you do not have to. Isn't that great? You don't have to remember a thing. You have to remember how to get into your phone. You have to remember how to get into your phone or your laptop. But that's you've hit it on the head. You don't have to remember anything. How great is that? Is this making sense, by the way?
Yeah.
No, really, I'm nonsensical for the most part. So is this really, does this make sense?
I got one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we've been in the old world. You put in some password, and then you go to the next site and put the same password in. You do it 3 or 4 times, and then it says you've used this, too many times or whatever. If I understand what you're saying about the passkey,
It'll never happen.
Couldn't you use the same password?
Yeah, here's
All your sites?
here's the reason. Passkey, here's the reason. That's a great question. The reason that you see on sites that they change the password, why would that be? Because they're exposed, but the passkeys aren't. So you just use one unless you lost your device. You never have to worry about, then you don't need that list anymore,
So what you can see here through these examples is what's happening is, and the company that my wife and I have, our nephew's running, and he's actually doing some of this with big companies. All of the big companies are now getting into a room and going, do you want to use a QR code? Do you want to use this? Do you want to use a challenge? Do you want to use this? So you're going to see everything happening because they're all trying to find the easiest way to do it. But for us as users, they're going to be all good. They can drive you crazy sometimes. That's another reason I think the password manager kind of smooths it out. But they're definitely changing.
This site here, and the example is, this is what you saw with the QR code. That's an unusual sign in. That's an unusual challenge that, and I don't particularly like that because you have to use 2 devices. That's just the way they designed it. What I'm going to show you here with CVS Portal this is kind of the classic way that most people would sign in with a pass key. This is what I'd call a device challenge. So what this is going to do, if this video will work. Okay, come on. There we go. So the cursor is moving. Coming. This is CVS Caremark. And where's the, okay, I've gone into sign in up at the top. Now, this says sign in a register plan. Now, it was populated, by the way, with because of LastPass. It populated the username in this case. So I hit continue and sign in with passkey. Yes. So I hit continue. Now that screen there, that's asking me for my computer password. What opens up my pass? Every one of us should have that either on your device. What opens up your, what's the lock, code for your device, for your computer? That's, in a way, that's the pass key. That's the password. You got to remember that. Of course, if you don't remember that, you're not in here because you're not in there.
Devices go with facial recognition, not a passcode.
Then that's fine. Well, Well, when you say all your devices, it would do that. You wouldn't, the challenge then would not be the, the entry of the code. It would be your face. Your device would know that. Yeah. Like an iPhone, two ways, or Android too, right, Jay? There are two ways I can open up my phone. I can put my face if it recognizes it, or I can enter the code, one or the other. This happened to be, we entered the code, but if I had had a different device, it would have been Face ID. All I was doing was opening up the device.
So let's say I go out and buy a new device, I would replace my iPad, get a new iPad, do I have to?
No, that's the beauty of iCloud.
Okay.
iCloud, everything you do, for the most part, everything you store
Okay.
is up there. So when you set up a new device,
If it's in your account.
yeah, I mean, anybody that's set up, an Apple device, knows it's one of the coolest things in the world. You get a new iPhone, you lay it down, and then you lay the other one on top of it. And in 2 seconds, the setup begins. Why is that? Because it's going up to iCloud because you backed up before, and it's just duplicating what you had on the other device.
Whatever device you have, as long as you're using the password manager, and you go get a new device, you're gonna be using the same password manager.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So let's address that question of cross. I know you wanted to do this slide because of how cool. By the way, we have a list. I don't need to spend time. These are password managers. This is a list of password directories. Where was that other slide? Did we pass that about passkey, technology be damned? I guess we did.
Yeah.
You want to, talk about the password managers,
Yeah,
what they do.
this is Password managers, that was a list of them. If you want to know who uses passkeys, there's two sites, passkeys.io. When you go to that site, it's going to ask you, what do you want to do? Do you want to list them? Do you want, what's going on? Very easy to use. It'll tell you up to date who uses passkeys, what sites use passkeys. And the other one, which is on the next one, is passkeys.directory. So
Oh, yeah.
only passkeys directory is just a list. It's a list of every site that uses passkeys right now.
Did we, I guess we
Yeah, it
skipped
was.
it, I guess I'd have to go back.
Now,
But
the Google thing, which we wanted to show, which is a handout, what we really wanted to show you here is this is pretty easy to set up the passkey on Google, but the way you start it on Google is in your browser, and we have it down here, it's like the 8th or 9th line. It says just type in g.co/passkeys. You type that in, it goes right to Google setup. But you can't do that, like on Amazon, you would need to log in security. This, you just do that. So
So,
once you do that, it's really easy. That's all you gotta do, so you just gotta remember that, which is why we.
I-
we did this.
by the way, I apologize. I teased you about the cross-platform and we skipped right over that. Because it's my fault. I skipped the slide that would have covered it. Okay,
But that's a handout.
it's a pretty simple.
Out across the device.
Cross-platform. What is cross-platform issues? Cross-platform issues are, I've got a Mac and I have an Android. For what reason in God's name I would have that set up, I have no idea. But there are some people. Okay, that's a cross-platform. Or I have an iPhone, but I also have a PC. I don't have a Mac. I don't know why you'd have that either, but that's a cross-platform. Well, if I set up my, if in fact passkeys are device-centric, then what do I do if I'm cross-platform? Password manager. It's really that simple. Once you set up the password manager, you can access the password manager. I'm on a PC and I'm on Google. And I have my password manager, that I've set it up, especially the extension. or I'm on a Mac, or I'm on my iPhone. I've got my password manager that stores the passkey. That's the beauty of, and that's what makes the cross-platform really, it just addresses it perfectly. Did that, Howard, did that answer, or I didn't?
I set up passkeys using a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out in the car, and I want to get into a site. I have my hand open. Phone, my smartphone. What do? I go to I access my password manager?
Yeah.
On my smartphone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where does this business of the place to the device?
Because your password manager is it's just a storage aspect. You've stored it on the password manager. It's still device centric. It's still device centric. You've just accessed it through the password manager on that device. It wouldn't open up if it were on a different, you could, if you didn't have it in your password manager, it wouldn't open up.
Like this.
The pass keys, having set up the pass key. Once you access it, you still have to go through the challenge part, of entering the Face ID or the biometric. So that's how it does. That's why password managers now are really important in this age where we're going to see passkeys supplant passwords. Absolutely. And you are cross-platform, and many people are. That's the way to handle it. It's that simple.
What if we share like our bank accounts? How do we set that up? That we can both access it, the same account? And share it. And he's on Android and I'm on Apple.
Boy, you're really posing a conundrum here. Give me a chance to think about that. You both are, you have different logins, right?
Yeah.
Well, there it is. Once you log in, if your site right now might not take passwords. When you log in with your particular credential and it accepts passkeys, it'll create the passkey just for you. Absolutely. Did I answer that? I'm not sure if that's right or not, but it sounds pretty logical to me. No, if you have two different passwords. When you do that, when the site accepts pass keys, that's what it'll do.
Yeah. So, and you gotta talk to Ginny. I'm not allowed in our banking, so I don't have that problem. Oh,
Do all passwords all current platforms?
yeah. So now I'm gonna, why?
If you have Linux, it doesn't.
Well,
Because
Linux,
only
yeah.
Mike has a Linux.
I have Linux,
machine.
yeah. Yeah, right. It's easier. It's nothing. So now I'm gonna give you 2 minutes on where are we going past passkeys. So here's what's right now in the works. What they want, instead of a single login moment, systems want to continuously verify your identity. Now here's what they're doing now, and Apple happens to be leading this. Typing rhythm, phone grip, walking gait, mouse movement, geolocation, how you swipe a screen will tell that device if it's really you. If you vary from that, it's going to do it. Then after that, they're going to do multimodal biometrics, combining face, voice, iris, heartbeat, and even vein patterns. If you have an Apple Watch, it's going to look at your vein patterns, okay? So it's getting crazy, I'm telling you. Then on top of all that, you throw in AI. Once AI gets involved, it creates your digital behavior profile. And if you deviate from that profile, it's going to want an extra check saying, I don't know if that's you. So you don't have to remember anything. It's just going to do it all for you. And well, yeah, right. So your digital identity is going to live in your personal AI agent. So it's pretty interesting the way they do that, because they want it to be the person. They don't want you to enter anything. They want to be able to tell it's you. So they're coming up with all these ways to do it. So it's going to be pretty interesting in the future.
What that basically says is that into the future, we're not going to have to do anything. you'll come here for a session and you'll sit there and we'll sit there and it'll take place. And we won't have to do a damn thing. Not at all. There's no more learning. There's no more, I mean, it's all taken care of for us. We're headed in that direction.
So this morning, I get a phone call and it said, "Hey, Frank." And I thought, okay, I got money there. So I picked it up, said hello, and they said, "We have a lady in Texas and her name is Sherry White. And she would like to know if you would do 2 deposits," and gave the amount. And, I was gonna, tell them,
Venmo.
Zelle.
Venmo.
Zelle. I was gonna Zelle
Oh,
them.
Vel,
And, did I authorize that? She has all my information, I'm told, but they didn't give it. It was very sick, it was very well done. And, I said, "No, I'm not gonna authorize that." And I said, "I want to talk to the fraud department now."
and they didn't let you do it. Oh, no, I know what this, thi-
Oh, yeah, they're good.
did you come to our fraud seminar? No, probably. We addressed, yeah, no, go ahead. So what else happened?
So anyway, so the fella said, "Oh, I'll give you the fraud department number."
Yeah.
And gave me another number in his office, of course. So I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, I said, I think I'll call Chase. I think I'll call the fraud department at Chase. And he hung up on me.
We,
$5,000.
That was
we,
right.
we, let me tell you that AI is also at fault partly for this. The advancements in technology have benefited all of us, but they benefited the black side or dark side of things as well,
Yeah.
without a doubt. The ability to clone numbers, phone numbers, is so easy, it's beyond belief. What a lot of these scams do now, they combine technology with literally acting and staged skills. They have an entire script. It's a movie. They have it set down. There was, when we did this fraud seminar, I'll go back to this, we highlighted an article.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to quickly, 5,000, a woman who said, you wouldn't think I'm the kind of person who put $5,000 in a box, bring it down to a white Mercedes and give it to them. And she was the editor, the financial editor of the paper. It's so sophisticated now. We had the same thing. My wife and I had the same thing, happen to us. And as soon as they detect something, that they hang up. We're going to, be on the lookout for, we've been issuing these tech tips, right, Joan? Yeah. Look for these tech tips. They're going to be on various things. The newest tech tip is, I'm pretty excited because it's very cool. It's an AI fraud detection tool. You're going to be able, you get a text, you get an email, and this is going to tell you how you can use AI to tell you immediately whether that's a legitimate document or not.
And why?
I may have gotten that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it time to download the update for the phone?
Oh, okay. That goes beyond. We're going to do with iOS 26. Don't do it. It's wonderful. Don't
Okay.
do it yet. Wait till,
Make sure. everybody knows what-
if you did it already, hopefully you enjoy it. You will enjoy it. It's got great features. But I usually counsel people, those updates, the big update every year, it's like getting a new phone. That's what I always say. There's so many features, but the developers can't catch up in time. So apps don't work. Battery power seems to drain initially. Wait until you see iOS 26.1. They call it the point, updates. Those are the bug fixes.
Yeah.
3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Will you give us that?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Personally, give me your number and no. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna do, the next seminar we're gonna do, we have an AI one, which is gonna be virtual, so you just play it. Then we're gonna do the iOS 26, which Barry loves, and I'm not sure I'm even gonna go to it. And then we're gonna do the annual gift guide, hopefully before Thanksgiving, so you can see the tech gifts that are out there today for grandkids and friends and stuff like that. So we'll be busy in the next 60 days.
If there's, like Howard, you initiated this, by the way, Howard Farrar is the reason we're here today. About, what was it, 6 months ago or more? Yeah, you emailed me and said, I'd really like to, if you guys did something on passwords and passkeys. Do us a favor. Do that, contact us. If there's a question in technology that, you'd like to see addressed, reach out to us. And, if it appears that it's a universal situation, we love doing it. We absolutely do.
I have one. I get,
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Somebody, I pointed the wrong direction here.
it's all.
I'll point, yeah. Nancy.
With the cross platforms, do you set the passkey in like your Apple device and then a passkey in your iOS device? I mean, the
Android device, yeah, exactly.
well together in Apple, in Password Manager?
Yeah, you would go in on the PC.
Yeah.
And you would set up the passkey for that device and you would save it in your password manager. So that way it can be accessed on your Apple device or whatever. No, it's just one, but it's device oriented. I know it's hard to think about it, but it really is your device. So I know it's tough. I may not be doing a great job in explaining that, but it's really the device.
Okay, what's the next one on our last slide?
Yeah.
Just a quick question. I'm confused on this. When the passkey is generated, it's being generated. You don't have to come up with anything. So once it's in, how do you get it in your password manager?
What did you see up, your password manager says, if you have a password manager set up, you're going to automatically get a message. Do you want to save it in this? Your password manager will come down on a little sign. Do you want to save it in this? Yeah, that's how
So you don't have a different passkey for all these different sites.
It's not really a different passkey. It's just a device. Yeah. Yeah, it's something assigned to that particular device, but your password manager can access it no matter what the device is. Does that make sense? You could, yeah. Or you go to the site and your password manager would drop down and populate it automatically.
When you mentioned iOS 26, I looked at my phone and have mine, I have automatic update. Should I turn that on?
I say to people, turn it off. You just have to pay attention. Yeah. The downside of turning it off, the downside of turning automatic updates off is that the incremental updates, sometimes you don't pay attention, and those are important updates that you should download, but you don't pay attention and you don't do it. I just always, when it comes to the big annual update, it's as exciting as some of these features are. Apple's introducing a blood pressure detection feature.
Yeah.
It's never been done before. I want to try that in the worst way, but I'm not downloading 26 until 26.1 comes out.
I see where sometimes they say you can go on to certain sites and then you make up and passwords for you. They create.
Yeah, yep.
Is that something?
I never do that. I would never remember. First of all, the password is the most ridiculous. 1, 2, 3 pound Fido, plus minus. They're insane. No one would remember that. So I don't do that. Pardon? Well, you could, oh yeah, you could absolutely do that. Yeah, if you have a password manager, then it doesn't matter. Personally, I don't like to do it, but there's nothing wrong with it at all. You know, nothing. I don't trust the sites. That's why I don't do it. Yeah, I don't trust anything. You know, you get a call from a relative, trust and verify. Yeah.
We have, we're gonna have separate computers, separate phones, separate iPads. So we have shared on that sites. How do how do we get to make sure that the sites, passwords that he sets up or I set up are in the same spot that we can access easily on our devices?
You just set it up. It sets up on the device itself. Yeah. Oh, are you talking about on a password manager?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a password manager, you're gonna you can share a password manager, but you're gonna have to put in, it's a little bit of work. You're gonna have to go to the password manager and you're gonna have to take your old password manager and you're gonna have to enter all that. It's work, you know, but it's not that much work. But you're gonna find, you know, once you do it, you're gonna say, why didn't I ever do this before?
And then we put the same password manager on our devices. Since we were totally in the Apple.
Well, use Apple passwords.
In the cloud, and we'll have it on all the devices, and every time we put a new one in there, it'll be on all of them.
Yeah. If you have shared, you know, you can set up shared iCloud. So that's what you do. Yeah. I think we've extended beyond, you know, you guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope what we